softball in Wichita, the AUSL, the Athletes Unlimited Softball League. Tonight, the first of a 4-game series between the Bandits, currently in first place, and the Blaze. Both these sides something in common: youth being served. We've got some fantastic breakout performers for the Bandits. How about Bella Dayton? Offensively, defensively, on the base path, she has done a fantastic job as a pro. For the Blaze, you've got Anna Gold. Defensively, she has been unmatched, and with a bat in her hands, how about 3 multi-hit games in her first 2 weeks as a professional? Not bad at all. Every team in the AUSL has played 8 games now. The Bandits, the top dogs, no one's in front of them. 6-2 through their first 8 games. Then you got the Talons, the Volts, and the Blaze looking for win number 2. Hello, everyone. So glad you have found us. This is going to be fun. Friday night AUSL softball here in Wichita with Kenzie Fowler. I am Eric Collins. We have now played close to 2 full weeks of the AUSL, and this is going to be a first-time matchup. We've never seen the Bandits and Blaze play each other.
Yeah, a couple of teams that are on the opposite sides of the standings. I just feel like this is a very important weekend for the Blaze, who have been knocking at the door the last couple of games, but don't have the wins to show for it. But standing in their way, a very tough team, the Bandits. They have it rolling pitching, defense, and man, they are slugging it.
And we have played close to 2 weeks of pro ball here, and we have 2 batters currently hitting 500 or above in this game.
Now you look at what Coffel and Baylee Klingler have been able to do on both sides of their teams, leading the AUSL and OBP for Coffel. And then how about Baylee Klingler, the only hitter in the league that has had a hit in every single game. These two have been getting it done.
All right, let's take a look at the lineup card for the Bandits. The Bandits, their manager, Stacy Newbin-Denise. She has Morgan Zerkle leading things off, Skylar Wallace. Coffel talked about her breakout season. Bubba Nickles-Ca, Delaney Wisz, Bella Dayton, there's that rookie out in left field. Netz, Roberts, and McKinney rounding out the 9. That lineup will bat against right-hander, 24 years of age, A Vawter.
Yeah, how about Elena making her debut with the Blaze this week, and a much-needed power pitcher for the Blaze. Throws the ball hard down in the zone with her drop change combo. I'm excited to watch her in the circle.
Vawter played collegiately at Stanford and at USC, just coming over from Japan. Second appearance as a pro here stateside. With the AUSL, her first pitch misses down low to Morgan Zerkle. Zerkle just continues to be so steady for many years now. Shows a bunt, fouls it back to the screen. Zerkle, 29 years of age, has been associated with Athletes Unlimited since its inception in 2020 and has never missed a game.
And look at what she's doing so far this season. 3 home runs, that's good for most in the whole league. And this is a hitter that's known for her short game, known for her speed. You've already seen her show a drag bunt at this at bat and then turn around next pitch, swing away. It's what makes her so dangerous in that leadoff spot. I
think she is maybe the poster child for what this is all about. She has gotten better and better and better since her college days. Shows a good eye. There's Vawter. 4 1/3 a couple of days ago. 5 hits, 3 earned runs, walked 3 and struck out 3. That was against the Volts. And she strikes out Zerkle to begin our ball game. Let's take a look at the Blaze defensively. Corby Otis out in left field. Leah Andrews gets up to everything in center field. You got Briggs out in right, very good. Gold Urtez left side of the infield with Leach and Klingler on the right side. Veteran catcher Taylor Edwards. Here's Skylar Wallace. Not sure it needs to be said, but I'll say it anyway. Here in mid-June in Wichita, Kansas, it is hot. Not only hot, but also windy today. Come to the ballpark here at Wilkins Stadium, and you always look at the flags. Today, the flags happen to be blowing in from left field. I'm sorry, out to left field.
Well, hey, it may change.
There's a fly ball to left. And the catch is made by Otis. So 2 outs here in the top of the first inning. Stacy Newbin-Denise. She's done everything you could possibly imagine in the world of softball. coach for the Bandits. Currently 6-2 through 8 games. Not bad. Here's Aaron Coffel. Nine hits in 8 games. Of those 9 hits, 7 of them have been for extra bases.
Now this is a hitter where if you're a pitcher against her, you want to make sure that you take care of the batters hitting in front of Aaron Coffel. Just looking at her numbers, 13 RBI.
Hard but foul. Kenzie, as a former pitcher at your level, you got the bases empty. There's 2 outs. You're facing Coffel, who has been red hot. Do you pitch around her knowing that there's going to be another all-star behind her and it's a windy day with the wind blowing out the left? You pitch to her, but you give her your best stuff. Absolutely. You have a little bit more freedom with the bases clear. If, you know, a couple of people on base, I'm going to circle her. She is the hitter right now for the Bandits in the lineup. I am not going to let beat me if I'm A Vawter, if I'm the Blaze this entire weekend. And on the flip side, we just talked about her. Baylee Klingler is that hitter for the Blaze. Nice pitch by Vawter. And the count's now full. Now, if this inning continues, the great Bubba Nickles-Ca will bat. And Bubba will hit. First base runner of our game. Coffel draws the 2-out walk. Walks have been a little bit of an issue for the Blaze the last couple of weeks. Lead the league in walks allowed. Coffel's on at first. Bandits as a team, they really like to run. They lead the AUSL in stolen bases. They've stolen 10 bases in 8 games. Here's Bubba. Healthy swing right back to the backstop. Like that off-speed pitch from Vawter. Really is one zone as a hitter that you're looking at when you're facing A Vawter, and that is down. She's going to give you down in the zone with the drop and the change. She tunnels them so well, pairs them together. Hey, you think a Bandits team with Stacy Newman-Denise as the head coach calling the shots, maybe they'd wait for a 3-run homer like Stacy was so often get when she was in player. But she believes in small ball well and well-rounded softball. I think that's the catcher in her, right? You're always thinking about that part of the game when you're defensively behind the plate, knowing how you can put pressure on the catchers if you're constantly running, and put pressure on the pitcher as well. Of her generation, late 90s, early 2000s, no one hit it further than Stacy Newman-Denise. I was watching her hit fungos, just getting everyone ready for fielding drills before the game, and it was so rare to see her actually swing and the ball not go over the fence. Pitch misses downstairs. No, it looked effortless for sure. It was just a walk in the ballpark. All right, Vawter's in danger of walking back-to-back batters. Count's now gone full. Good hands up there. Didn't make the catch, but more defensive than anything. That ball was smoked. Ah, love it. That's a classic sibling or best friend tease right there. Bait and switch. Back-to-back walks. So Vawter got Zerkle and Wallace to begin our game, and then she walks Coffel and Nickles-Ca. On a windy day, folks, just takes one fly ball, and all of a sudden it's a 3-0 lead for the Bandits. Wind is howling out to left field. 20 miles an hour, gusts up to 30 miles an hour. Here's Delaney Wisz. Probably licking her chops. She's got power for days. And she's got 2 base runners on in front of her.
The good thing for A Vawter is she's not a pitcher that typically gives up the long ball because of how she attacks hitters with that drop ball and that changeup. Just needs to trust her stuff. I like the timeout right there from the veteran, Taylor Edwards, just getting on the same page. Remember, this is a pitcher that is new to this team this week, trying to figure each other out.
Two 2-0 to Wisz. Veteran pro from UCLA. Off speed of beauty. If you look closely at Vawter, you can actually see her jersey kind of being buffeted by the wind. When you're a pitcher throwing into the wind, that must be disconcerting.
Your ball's going to move more when you throw into the wind.
So as a pitcher, you're actually not morally opposed to having the wind blow out then?
No, so if you're blowing with the wind and it's at your back coming into home, you're definitely going to pick up the velo, but it's going to neutralize all of your movement. It's going to have a really flat effect on all of your pitches.
That is now 3 consecutive walks by Vawter. She sailed through Zerkle and Wallace, but then back-to-back-to-back walks to load the bases.
Just have not been able to see her locate that drop, and it's kind of interesting. The first 2 hitters in this Bandits lineup, left-handed hitters, and then here come the 3 righties in a row, and that's where Vawter has lost it.
Alyssa Goller calling the shots for the Blaze. Her team's in trouble here in the first inning. Bella Dayton called strike 1.
Bases are loaded. Bandits fans, let me make some noise.
24-year-old Dayton, drafted in the 12th round past spring. Defenders right now for the Blaze must be wondering what's going on. There hasn't been a ball put in play probably in 5 minutes worth of game time.
Very unusual. You look at the pitch count already at 30, 17 balls.
On the ground, Urtez across the diamond, and she gets Dayton by a half step. So no damage done. The Bandits leave the bases loaded. Hot and steamy Friday evening here in Wichita, Kansas, the Sunflower State. Bandits have the bases loaded in the first inning. They do not score. And now it's the Blaze turn to the dish. Let's take a look at the lineup card of Lisa Goller. Sierra Briggs, first game this year, she will lead off. The ordinary leadoff batter, Aubrey Leach, has been bumped down to the 2-hole. You got Klingler, Danielle Gibson Horton, Otis, Gold, Urtez, Edwards, and the second leadoff hitter, Aaliyah Andrews. In the circle for the Bandits, Taylor McQuillan.
Yeah, how about the first start of the season? Veteran pitcher from Arizona, the lefty, going to use a lot of curveballs, whether that's a backdoor or letting her true curve run away with left-handed batters, and has an elite change to go with that.
First start, but she has been used a whole bunch. She's appeared in 3 games. Doesn't have a win or a loss, but she's got the 2 saves. She has pitched a total of 7 innings, only given up 2 earned runs, and struck out 8 in 7 innings. Little bunt laid down, and that'll be a foul ball. It actually hits Briggs. Was she in the batter's box?
I have to think no.
Oh no, the ball hit her when she was out of the box, and she's going to be out.
A little bit of a delayed call there.
Briggs actually stepped on the ball, and that'll be the first out.
Trying to get a little short game going. Sierra Briggs is one of the best drag bunters in the game. Saw her do this many a time at LSU. I don't know about that. I didn't see it live, and I don't really see it there on the replay.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Well, you have a coach's challenge, and Alicia Goller decides that's not a good option. So one out here in the bottom of the first inning. Here's Aubrey Leach. So quiet in that left-handed batter's box. Two and 0 to Leach. Relatively slow start from what you normally expect out of Aubrey Leach. 5 for 25. Does have 6 walks. 2 and 1. When Leach was drafted, had to have been thrilled heading over to the Blaze because they have some orange in their color scheme. That's all she's known for the last decade. A wonderful All-American playing for the Lady Vols in Knoxville, Tennessee at Lady Vol, and then has been on that coaching staff, various roles, for a long time now. She's got both an undergraduate degree and a law degree from Tennessee.
She's someone that has been a part of the Athletes Unlimited Player Executive Committee. It's a smarty player up there. Got the softball smarts, book smarts.
Oh, that's her 7th walk of the season. She's played in 9 games and walked 7 times. Defensively, the Bandits, they know how to turn a double play. They lead the league in double plays turned, 7 of them in 8 games. You got Dayton, Zerkle, and Nickles-Ca in the outfield. McKinney, Wallace, left side of the infield. Coffel, Wisz on the right side with Jordan Roberts behind the plate. First pitch to Baylee Klingler, misses up and in. Ball 1. Klingler has been the truth. 29 at bats, 16 hits. This isn't travel ball, folks. This is the highest level of women's softball in the world.
Well, and what a get for the Blaze, was drafted in the 8th round. You think about that and what she's been able to do this season, you're thinking this is the #1 draft pick for the Blaze this season.
Leach down to second base. She'll make it without a throw. So runner in scoring position with 1 out for the Blaze. Klingler right into the glove of the first baseman, Wisz. That's probably a tougher play than it looked because Wisz is looking into that sun.
Just gets a screwball from McQuillan, working away to the righty bat and Klingler. And I am constantly amazed at the pitches that Baylee Klingler is able to get to. That ball, that was a great look. You could see where it was. It was clear past the river, almost in the other batter's box, and she's still able to get her bat there.
Here's Danielle Gibson-Horton. 2 homers and 25 at bats. Coming back after a year off. Doesn't look any worse for the wear. Still get that pretty left-handed swing. Softly off the pitcher's glove. Wallace, the shortstop, fields and fires, and the side is retired. So the Blaze leave a runner in scoring position against Taylor McQuillan. We're still scoreless. The Athletes Unlimited Softball League is sponsored by Nike and by Poppy. It is a 0-0 score, top of the second inning. Both sides with base runners, but we do not have a base hit. 3 walks in the first inning for the Bandits, but they left the bases loaded. The Blaze had a walk to Leach, who stole second base, but then was stranded on at second. With Kenzie Fowler, Amir Collins. Bottom third of the order for the Bandits, Devin Netz. Vawter's hoping for a more efficient second inning. Called strike. What's the focus for Vawter here in the second inning?
The drop ball. Needs to locate that pitch for a strike. Back-to-back strikes right there. One with the foul ball. Was able to throw her changeup for a strike last inning, which was good to see. It was just the hard stuff where she was missing on both sides. But it was just kind of interesting how the inning fell. You look at all three lefties that she faced. She was able to retire those left-handed hitters. Struggled with the righties. 3 walks.
Good eye by Netz. It'll be Netz, Roberts, and McKinney batting in the second inning. Netz showing a real good eye.
That's a great take. You're in swing mode with 2 strikes. You're looking down, you see it down, and you still take it.
Vawter started her college experience at Stanford. Actually got her undergraduate degree at Stanford in engineering. Good golly. Finished off her college experience at South Carolina. This ball hit well to left field, and it is off the top of the wall. That's going to be the longest single possible. Oh, what a wonderful job defensively by Otis out there in left field to get that ball off the fence and get it back to the infield.
Devin Netz makes the adjustment on the changeup. Full count, sees a lot of drop balls. Vawter goes to the off speed, and she's ready for it. Looking down in the zone and off the top of the fence. Man, Devin Netz, the rookie, misses her first pro home run by an inch.
Here's Jordan Roberts. Lashes it into center field. That's a bullet base hit. Back-to-back singles for the Bandits. Runners on at first and at second.
Wow, that ball was smoked. Well, you and I have seen some really hard hits from Jordan Roberts in her professional career, but that one was, I know, no launch angle on that, but smoked up the middle.
Here's the hometown hero, former Wichita State shocker, Sydney McKinney. A little small ball, back to the screen. She's not limited to that, folks. She can do everything you could possibly imagine in the batter's box. 10 for 24, .417 batting average through the first 8 games of the year with a homer. And 5 runs batted in. This time swings away, and she's down in the count 0-2. Now talk about the Wichita State legend.
Yeah, got a loud applause when she came to this at-bat and in intros. Been fun to see her anytime she returns here to Wichita State, her home, school record in almost every offensive category, and just her legend continues to grow playing professionally.
.451 career batting average. That's not the one season when she caught lightning in a bottle. That's
Crazy.
over a 5-year window with power. One, two. Uh-oh. Out number 1, Vawter strikes out McKinney. That's a big strikeout for Vawter.
Big time drop ball here from Vawter. I'm telling you, there's something in the water with her against the lefties. Has retired every single one, looks very comfortable.
Here's another lefty. This is Zerkle. That one will fall. May score a run. No, they will stop. Netz at third. So runners on at first, second, and third with 3 singles already here in our second inning.
I like it. Morgan Zerkle is already her second at-bat against Vawter in this game, and so she's seen what she needs to see. Struck out in her last at-bat on the changeup. She's looking hard, she's looking early, and she is on time.
So the Bandits loaded the bases without a base hit in the first inning. They've now loaded the bases with 3 base hits here in the second inning. Skylar Wallace popped out to left field her first time up. Vawter's going to have to give Wallace something to swing at. Two and one. Bandits, the best record in the AUSL. A winning percentage of .750. They're 6-2. 3-1.
Vawter needs that pitch to be called. Working glove side and tight on Skylar Wallace, who has a ton of power.
So we will have another full count.
Yeah, she goes right back to it. Doesn't get the call, but that's the pitch that she needs. Something in tight. Goes right back to it. And gets the swing and gets the strike. Here we go.
Netz on at third. Roberts follows her at second. Zerkle at first. 3-2 pitch to Wallace. Stays alive. Edwards just can't hang on to that tip. This will be the 50th pitch of the game for Vawter. On the ground, hard to third. The out at third. The throw across the diamond in time. How about a double play by Anna Gold? Oh, just beautiful. Knew exactly where she was in the world and turns two.
Well, Elena Vawter is a ground ball pitcher, and this is what you want if you're playing defense behind her. The rookie turning two, and how about the pick at first by Baylee Klingler?
We have more Athletes Unlimited League softball on Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern on ESPNU. That's going to be from Norman, Oklahoma. The Talons are going to take on the Volts. Hannah Flippin off to a rousing start. .462 batting average, and of course, wonderful defensively. Well, if you're new to what we're doing here, the AUSL, 4 teams, 16-player teams. You get the Bandits, the Blaze, the Talons, the Volts. When it's all said and done, every team will play 24 games in 10 different locations across North America. And it will conclude with a best-of-3 championship series in softball crazy Tuscaloosa, Alabama, tail end of July. Here's Corby Otis. Otis will be followed by Anna Gold and Anissa Urtez. Taylor McQuillan, much different than what we've seen from Elena Vawter. She's been efficient, got through that first inning with only 14 pitches thrown. Two and one.
McQuillan's go-to pitch is that curve, whether she's throwing inside to right-handed hitters or away to right-handed hitters with a back door. Has the ability to go upstairs, but everything really breaks off of her curve with that upspin.
Two-hopper. Second baseman Coffel throws out Otis. All right, here's Anna Gold. Gold saved the day for the Blaze earlier in this second inning. Defensively, bases loaded, balls hit to her at third. Stepped on the bag at third, threw across the diamond for the double play.
She has been a defensive machine for Blaze this year. It's been fun to watch her at third. She's played some at short. I know their social media team has been having their hands full with how many highlights they've been posting of her this season. It's been a ton. Has not been playing like a rookie at all.
Wherever she plays defensively, she's a Gold Glover.
Hey.
Just look at the last name. I'll tell you, she's a gamer, though. She is one of the few players here in the AUSL who never wears batting gloves.
Only you would notice that.
Well, she comes from cold weather. She is from upstate New York, just outside of Saratoga Springs, New York. That's cold, folks. Spring softball, cold. And she played at Duke. In the ACC sometimes, certain places, it's not necessarily very warm. Swing and a miss. That's a beautiful pitch by McQuillan. That was a changeup of all changeups.
She sells her changeup so well. Has great arm tempo. Good speed coming in. You see where it starts. Yeah, Anna Gold is looking right in the middle of the zone, and then that movement, it just dies. Great pitch, especially 2 strikes. So much movement.
Here's Anissa Urtez. These two know each other very well. Urtez and McQuillan have been longtime pros, and they played internationally together on the Mexican national team. They both were part of that 2020 Olympic team. It was actually played in 2021. But significant history with these two.
Even going back to their collegiate days with McQuillan at Arizona and Urtez at Utah, playing in the Pac-12. Do you remember the Pac-12?
Oh, way back when, yeah. Little number to third. Sydney McKinney throws out Urtez, and another efficient inning for Taylor McQuillan. We played 2 here in Wichita, still scoreless.
Okay, what about song number 2?
Top of the third inning, 0-0 score. The Bandits have threatened twice, haven't been able to scratch. AUSL has partnered with Rebel Girls, a global empowerment brand dedicated to raising the most inspired and confident generation of girls. Check out Rebel Girls on YouTube as junior reporters recap the AUSL season. I like it. Fantastic idea.
They're really good, incredibly talented. If you haven't checked them out, I highly recommend hitting up their social pages. Phenomenal content, and, you know, start them young.
All right, A Vawter begins her 3rd inning of work. She has been walking that tightrope. She's had the bases loaded against her in each the 1st and the 2nd inning, yet is not allowed to run. Coffel leads things off.
Well, this was the part of the lineup in the first where Vawter just really struggled. The 3 straight walks, of course, no score on the board, so Bandits weren't able to capitalize on it.
Hard and through. So that'll get the batting average over 500 for Coffel. She is now 10 for 19 in her first 9 games this season.
Just ridiculous. Whenever I see hitters, especially right-handed hitters, that are having batting averages 500 or higher, you think of Baylee Klingler and Erin Coffel. To me, that's incredible because they are just swinging away. Typically, if you see a hitter that's hitting 500 or higher, you're thinking of maybe a Morgan Zerkle or a Bella Dayton. Hitters that have those tools in the toolbox and can do a lot of different things and play with defenses. But these two are just hitting away. They are machines.
Bubba Nickles-Ca walked and was stranded back in the 1st inning. Ball pops out of the glove of Edwards. No damage done. Two extremes. Bandits playing really well to begin the season, 6-2 through the first 8 games. While the Blaze, a tough go of it. They played a lot of close games, but just haven't figured out a way to get over the hump. And they've now lost 5 straight to fall to 1-7. Every team plays 24 games, so still plenty of time. 3-1. It's now 3-2.
Now, this just feels like one of those weekends where I think it's more important for the Blaze than it is for the Bandits, because of the way that the Bandits have been able to position themselves at the top of the standings, taking care of business. You just can't let weekends and games get away from you. It's a short season.
And that is foul, and we'll do it again. Yeah, we've got 4 consecutive games here in this wraparound weekend series in Wichita between the Bandits and the Blaze. All late afternoon or early evening starts. Little number right back to Vawter. Oh no, they can't get the out as the throw takes Leach away from the bag, and everyone's going to be safe.
Oh man, that's so unfortunate. Had a potential double play ready to go, and to me it looked like Vawter's mask came off as she was throwing, which kind of caused an errant throw, and Aubrey Leach was not able to hold on at second base. Good job fielding. You're looking to turn, and I think, yeah, her mask just gets in the way. I don't know if I've ever seen that.
Yeah, I definitely have not. Well, the theme continues. This is the 3rd straight inning, which at least 2 Bandits have been aboard against Vawter. Well, as we look forward to the rest of this series here in Wichita, because we know so much about these teams and the way this league runs, we can tell you who the pitching probables are going to be. Good luck. Oh my goodness, Lexi Kilfoyle, who has been magical. She'll get the ball tomorrow for the Bandits. Sarah Willis against Ocasio on Sunday, and Netz and Vawter scheduled to go on Monday, but a lot of things can happen between now and then.
Can I just say that this has been one of my favorite things about this league, getting the pitching matchups ahead of time.
Yeah.
To me, that just feels so big time, and you know, something to look forward to. It helps our prep, of course.
Delaney Wisz could be 2 to second for 1 on to first. Not in time. Wisz got down the line quickly, and there are now runners on at the corners with 1 out.
Now Vawter gets another drop ball. This one just a little bit too slow developing to turn a double play. Ortez with a quick flip. And Wisz runs decently well. Oh, this is a lot closer than I thought it was.
Yep. Here's Bella Dayton. Dayton takes called strike 1. She batted with the bases loaded in the 1st inning and bounced to short to end the frame. Now she bats with runners on at 1st and at 3rd. Smacked into left field. That'll bring home the game's 1st run. That's an RBI base hit for Dayton, and we've got runners on at the corners once again, but a 1-0 lead for the Bandits.
Just such a good piece of hitting from Bella Dayton, who we all know has a ton of speed. We've seen her drag bunt, we've seen her slap. I love that she's swinging away here with a couple of runners on base. Gets on the bottom half of this drop ball and is able to elevate it over the head of Anissa Ortez. And finally, offensively, the Bandits have been able to cash in.
Oh my goodness, that ball went off the bat of Netz. That's a live ball. And coming in and scoring is Wisz. Heads up base running. Taylor Edwards tried to throw that ball down to second, or at least bluff it. The ball hit the bat of Netz at home plate.
So we've had a mask fall off and cause an errant throw, and now a throw hitting a bat in this inning. So Devin Netz is just staying hold in the box. She's doing nothing wrong, and Taylor Edwards is going for the pick at 3rd and just throws right into Netz. But that's heads up by Delaney Wisz.
Wow, what a wonderful shot.
Okay.
I'm sure some people out there say, wasn't that a dead ball? No, that
how
ball
do I
is
score
live.
that?
Yeah, well, it's an error. It's going to be a throwing error on Edwards. So 2 errors in the inning, and now a hit batsman. Net is hit with the pitch, and Netz will go down to 1st, and we'll have 1st and 3rd once again. Now, so the Blaze, they have not played this inning flawlessly. 2 errors, now hit batsman. 2 runs for the Bandits, and still in an enviable position. Runners on at the corners, still just 1 out for Jordan Roberts.
Well, defense for the Blaze has been one of their strong points this season. They have been a team that has been able to stay in games offensively. They've played solid defense. They just have been a little bit weak in the circle. ERA a little bit high. They've allowed the most walks in the league. And that is the part of their game where I'm sure everybody knows it's very obvious. Just need to tighten things up a little bit on that part, but the defense getting away from them a little bit in this inning.
That's a good strike. 2-1 to Jordan Roberts. Roberts scorched a single to center field an inning ago. 70th pitch of the ball game for Vawter. Right back to Vawter, who fields her position. 2 down. Going to score that humpback liner. Wasn't hit particularly well.
But sometimes those are the harder ones to catch because you can't really see how fast it is. Yeah, you can never say it's too easy. It's not easy. A lot of spin on it as well.
Sydney McKinney struck out an inning ago, trying to keep the inning alive for the Bandits. There goes the runner down to second. They throw through, and it'll be a straight steal for Netz. First stolen base of the ball game for the Bandits. They now have a league-leading 11 swipes.
A little surprised there we didn't see Taylor Edwards just attempt a straight-up throw-out. I think that's something that needs to be talked about pre-pitch, knowing that Devin Netz is not the fastest runner on this Bandit squad. You're thinking about Morgan Zerkle and Skylar Wallace. Okay, maybe let those types of runners take those bases.
That will make it through, and because of the stolen base, 2 more runs will score. It's a 4-run third inning for the Bandits. Sydney McKinney comes through. Well, we kind of thought that Vawter was on borrowed time with the way that she got at jams in the first inning and the second inning. Not able to wriggle up the hook here in the third. And it looks like we're going to have a pitching change. So we've come to the end of the line for Elena Vawter. Was able to survive for the first 2, but here in the third inning, Elisa Goller has to go to the bullpen to try and get out of this frame. B Yanez will come in to pitch. We'll tell you more about the left-hander when we return to Wichita. Welcome back, everyone. It is a 4-run third inning for the Bandits. 4-0 lead as we play the top of the third inning. New pitcher coming on. It's going to be the left-hander from UCLA, B Yanez.
Yeah, new to the Blaze this week, selected from the reserve pool. Has professional experience. UCLA grad, pitched a lot of big-time innings for the Bruins, and then previously, before she had gone to UCLA, was at Oregon for a couple of seasons.
Let's take a look at how these 2 clubs compare. Offense has not been the problem for the Blaze, but the problem has been that bottom line of their ERA, a wild difference between what the Bandits have done as opposed to the Blaze. That explains the Blaze's 5-game losing streak. Here's Morgan Zerkle, her 3rd plate appearance in the first 3 innings. When your leadoff batter is batted 3 times in the first 3 innings, you know something's going well for your club. There goes McKinney. 2nd stolen base of the inning for the Bandits. They're going to keep the pedal on the metal. The pedal to the metal.
I'm sure Coach Newman Denise is looking at her lineup and just going, all right, who else can I send? This is a very fast lineup.
And Zerkle works her way on for the walk. So the inning continues. Runners on at first and at second. Skylar Wallace with another RBI opportunity. Lefty-lefty matchup. Wallace has been to the plate twice and accounted for 3 outs. She flied out to left field in the first inning and hit into a 5-3 double play in the second. One and one. This has been a tale of 2 extremes. The Bandits have had just numerous base runners in all 3 innings, while the Blaze offensively just 1 base runner in 2 frames against Taylor McQuillan. Tough way to start this 4-game series for the Blaze. Right back to Yanez, and that will retire the side. But 4 runs cross the plate for the Bandits. They lead 4-0. When we come back, we're going to be talking, folks, to Skylar Wallace.
Yeah, we're hiding.
Trying to stay cool.
Oh, here we go.
It is a 4-0 lead for the first place Bandits. Bottom of the 3rd inning, Bandits and Blaze with Kenzie Fowler. I'm Eric Collins, and this, folks, is going to be the half inning that we talk to Skylar Wallace. Skylar is playing shortstop right now, and Skylar, can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you.
Fantastic. I always like to ask about the conditions. It looks like it's pretty darn hot where you are. You're in the sun. We're not.
3 bitches up, 3 bitches down. 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3 bitches up, 3 bitches down.
Here we go. Conditions are pretty good. I mean, I always wear sleeves and tights, kind of keep my body temperature cool, but it is a little toasty. The breeze is nice, though. I will say that.
There is no way that you would consider not wearing sleeves and tights, even if we're like 105 degrees.
Nope, I'm wearing sleeves.
Wow.
Yes, Tay! Atta girl.
Skylar, take us into this team. You guys are atop the standings right now. It just kind of seems like everything is working and rolling your way. What has been going right?
I think our chemistry is the biggest thing. I think the way we all, right out of the gate, when we arrived to Chicago for spring training. Here we go, Tay. See you. We just connected. We knew this was going to be a grind. We knew this wasn't going to be easy, and our coaches, really challenged us from the get-go. At first, we were like, oh, all right, hold up a second. Like, let's get some feel-good swing. Let's get to know each other. But I really think that played a huge part in us just being ready to go. And then we have a good mix of veterans and people who are a little bit younger and came out of college. And I think that just brings, like, this Atta girl, Tay! We just, work well together. That's the biggest thing. And we know how to be gritty and have each other's backs, and it's just cool. We control what we can control, and that's our main focus.
One thing I've been loving to watch is seeing all of the fun celebrations start to develop, and the team themes from the Blaze to the Bandits, the Volts, to the Talons. What have been some of those themes that you guys have kind of developed the last couple of weeks?
See you. Obviously, with Aaron being hot and some of our home run hitters, we do the lasso going into home.
Oh.
Everyone has their own thing. We've had the little thing at first base. I've done this before on a steal. But I think everyone's kind of been adding their own touch, which has been cool. Make a play! Make a play! right there. That's huge. That's huge. Atta girl. But everyone, I think, is just bringing their uniqueness. Like, we're not going to make anyone do something. They just show their personality and then get after it, because at the end of the day, we just want to win as a team.
Your head coach, Stacey Newman, Denise, has done everything you could possibly imagine in the world of softball. But a big power hitter back in her playing days.
Yeah.
She has you guys running the bases like crazy. You lead the league in steals. What's going on with that?
I think she just, room. Yeah, yep. I think the biggest thing is she just embraces who we are and lets us do our thing, which is super, super cool.
Skylar, that was like too fast.
Quick inning.
But thank you so much.
Sorry,
we
guys.
enjoyed it. Yeah.
Here we go. Good job, Tay. Atta girl. I got it. Yeah, I did.
Just for future reference.
Another mom. She's so funny and she's crazy and she coaches intensely. Coach B has shaped me into the softball player I am today just with tough love. Like, I needed it coming into college. I didn't really know who I was or how I could get to the next level, and she really pushed me to do that with the tough love. And then once you get off the field, it's like, let me go grill you a steak and let's have fun and let's chat and let's joke. So she just feels like another mom. She's awesome and she really gets the best out of people.
I love it. For the inaugural 2025 season, the Athletes Unlimited Softball League is teaming up with Coach Across America to spotlight the power of coaches through powerful stories from the mentors who shaped our athletes to the players now leading from the dugout. We're showing how one coach can change everything. Kenzie Fowler, you've had some significant coaches. I know one's even in your family, right, growing up?
Oh, yeah. My mom and my dad, of course. My mom coached me in high school. My dad coached me in club. And then, you know, finishing my career with Mike Candrea, not too bad.
I loved how Sydney McKinney was talking about tough love. But it's not always tough love. You know, you talk about coaches, you kind of got to read the room. You know, what does this player need right now? What does she not need?
Yep. Also, did she say that Coach Breadbrenner was cooking steaks, grilling steaks?
Yes.
Okay.
I was after the tough love. Then came the steaks. All right, Bandits already with 4 runs. It'll be Aaron Coffel, Bubba Nickles-Ca, and Delaney Wisz batting against Brooke Yanez. Yanez coming on an inning ago in relief of Vawter. She is throwing to a new catcher. Taylor Edwards is out of the game, at least momentarily. The new catcher for the Blaze is Kayla Kowalik. There's Kayla.
Who, let me just say, has the coolest catching gear I've seen.
Always.
I mean, man.
Kowalik and Coffel go back like lawn chairs. They're both Kentucky Wildcats.
I don't know if I'm just noticing this, that she has flames on her chest protector and like is fitted out in team colors. I've been calling the Blaze the last 3 weekends. Do you think I would have noticed that?
Yeah, no.
Looks awesome.
Oh, Coffel is hit with a pitch. Probably didn't hurt too much, only 53 miles per hour. That was a changeup. But the leadoff batter is aboard now for the 3rd consecutive inning.
That's why you wear that elbow guard. Oh, I think it missed the elbow guard. Got her on the wrist.
Let's see if Coffel thinks about running. Bandits had 2 steals an inning ago and really seemed to kind of take advantage of some indecision and some poor plays defensively by the Blaze. Do you ever call off the dogs at a certain moment if you're the Bandits? They're leading 4-0. Do you slow down the running game at some point?
No, because you want to push for that run rule. That game within our game where if you can get to the 8 runs at 5 innings and save some work for your horse in the circle right now, Taylor McClellan, absolutely. Keep pushing.
High fly ball, shallow right field. Briggs makes the play. 1 down.
This is one of those days where any simple fly ball to the outfield becomes very complicated because of that wind. You just cannot take it for granted, and I'm sure that both teams are talking about that with their base running. Just do not assume that anything is a can of corn.
Right field, no matter what level of softball you're playing, should always be at this time of day the sun field. Delaney Wisz takes up high. Softball and baseball fields are supposed to be properly aligned with home plate to center field heading towards the northeast. And if you look at B Yanez, you can actually tell the orientation of a field. Left-handers should have their left arm facing south.
There's like a light bulb going off in my head right now.
Yeah, so a left, you can always tell a southpaw is their left arm is facing south if they're in a properly orientated baseball or softball field.
I feel like I knew that, but that was buried very deep in my brain where I didn't like know it, you know what I mean? So thank you for bringing that right back to the top of my brain. Got it?
A couple of UCLA Bruins going to work, Yanez and Wisz. That's a good pitch. Four 4-0 lead for the Bandits. Top of the fourth inning. And the second walk, well, the second time that Yanez has allowed a base runner here in the fourth inning. Coffel was hit with a pitch, and now Wisz draws the walk.
Yeah, her second walk of her outing. Walked Morgan Zerkle last inning.
Blaze pitching has now walked 5. Here's Bella Dayton. RBI single, scored a run an inning ago. Strike one. Changeup to begin the sequence.
Yeah, big drop off in velocity from A Vawter, who was pushing mid-60s, now to B Yanez, who's mid-50s. And then you throw in the changeup in the 40s.
I remember way back when there used to be a line of thinking that why would you ever throw a changeup on the first pitch of an at-bat? The whole point was it's a change of speeds from something that you've seen before, but if it's the first pitch. But I think that's been thrown out of the water. If you got a good changeup, it's a good changeup. Just throw it whenever.
And a lot of times hitters are looking for that first pitch to be on time. Sometimes hitters will kind of sell out on that first pitch, say I'm looking one zone, I'm looking one speed, and usually that speed is fast. You always want to tell yourself in the box, I'm going to look hard and adjust slow. Because if you do the opposite, it's, well, near impossible. In this league, when you have high velocity pitchers to adjust backwards. So a lot of times that first pitch is one that you can get after. So as a pitcher, if you have a consistent changeup that you can get for a strike, almost pitch backwards a little bit, yeah, not bad.
Three balls and a strike. Coffel on at second. Wisz follows her at first. And another walk. That's the third walk to the first 6 batters that Yanez has faced. And here comes Golder once again. And I think this is just strategy.
Well, also 3 now out of the 4 innings, the Bandits have had the bases loaded.
If you look at the numbers, it's starting to become a problem. The Bandits dead last. I'm sorry, the Blaze dead last in the AUSL in walks allowed. They have now allowed 41 walks through the first 8+ games. That's 5 walks a game. That's just too much. You know, just in case, both Trautwein, Valdespino getting loose. Big news for her. Just earlier today, an announcement made. She's the new pitching coach at McKinney State. somewhere Erica Piancastelli smiling. That's
There you go.
Piancastelli's alma mater. Actually, not somewhere in Norman. That's where she's at.
Exactly. We know exactly where she is, actually.
The other series being played in Norman this weekend. Talons and the Volts. Okay, bases loaded. All the doing of B Yanez. She hadn't given up a base hit, but she's hit a batter and walked a pair. Just having a hard time finding that mitt. There's a strike she needed. 2-2. Wind continues to blow out to left field. Three and two. Lashed, and it gets down. 2 runs will score. Netz comes through once again. A 2-run single makes it a 6-0 lead for the Bandits.
Netz made B Yanez show her everything that Yanez had in that at-bat. Finally sees a pitch, full count. You can see where Kayla Kowalik was set up on the outside part of the plate. The pitch drifts over. Netz is ready, laces it to left center. And the Bandits are inching closer to that key 8 runs.
So we're going to have another pitching change. Hope Trautwein Valdespino will come on. Still just 1 out already. 2 runs have scored for the Bandits here in the 4th inning. The Bandits showing everyone why they are the top team early here in this AUSL season. Their offense has been both productive and patient. Maybe that's the most important thing. You got the 2 hit batsmen and the 6 walks drawn.
That's that deadly combo, right, of free passes, but then capitalizing on those free passes with those hits.
All right, new pitcher coming on. Hope Trautwein Valdespino. The 3rd game of the season. She's had trouble with the walks as well. More walks than strikeouts coming into this game.
It's a reserve athlete for the Blaze. Good mix of her rise and curve. Has an elite changeup that she'll use a lot, and she'll need it right here in this situation with the power bat of Jordan Roberts.
Yeah, the wind is howling out, folks. And with the power that Jordan Roberts has, if she gets a hold of one, it may not stop until it gets to Hutchinson, Kansas.
Is that far or close from here?
It's a long way.
Okay. Just want to make sure I knew where the ball was going.
Roberts was a power lifter, actually growing up in her native Florida. Played for Tim Walton and the Gators. Did a whole bunch of winning when she was there. And has been a highly sought-after pro because of what she can do behind the plate, because of the power she provides, and because of the quality teammate she's always been. I remember when she was a rookie playing in Athletes Unlimited, Kat Osterman wanted her on every single team that she was on because of what she was able to do, both as a pinch hitter, as a catcher, and also with her work in the dugout with everyone else.
I think she's a phenomenal pitch caller. I think she's one of the most underrated players in the league.
Three balls and 2 strikes. 2 runners on. Dayton on at second, Netz follows her at first. Got her. That's That's a nice bit of pitching there by Trautwein Valdespino.
Just some low heat here with the curve. You watch the spin, watch where it starts, and then just tailing late movement. Jordan Roberts just trying to see it the other way, but can't catch up.
Here's Sydney McKinney. 2-run single an inning ago. Called strike one. McKinney is from the great state of Missouri, but crossed over here to Kansas to play her college ball. Hard and through. Let's see if they've challenged the right arm of Nichols, and they do, and it is going to be not in time. The throw from right field breaks his throws a little bit down the line, and it allows Dayton to score, and it is a 7-0 lead for the Bandits.
Yeah, if Bella Dayton's at second base and I'm Coach Newman Denise, I am sending her. If that ball touches the grass, I don't care where it is. She has so much speed.
So a 7-0 lead. Runners on at first and at second, 2 outs. And this will be Morgan Zerkle. You can watch a bunch of softball, folks, for many, 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 many years, and you may never see the leadoff batter bat 4 times in the first 4 innings. Zerkle's batted in the first, the second, the third, and now the 4th. That is fair. That'll score a run. Maybe 2. Here comes McKinney, the throw in time. No, she's safe. Somehow Minnie got around that tag. The ball beat McKinney to the plate, but she made the tag on home plate without the tag on her.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think we possibly will have a challenge from the Blaze, whether this is a fair or foul ball. Anna Gold at third was really selling foul. And then,
wow.
Did she get around that?
That was an incredible slide.
Kowalik goes to reach, and yeah, she gets around it.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Well, no one knows this field in the world better than Sydney McKinney. This was her collegiate field for 5 years.
Blaze are challenging the call of fair ball. The play is currently under review.
All right, so Elisa Goller has decided to challenge whether this is a fair or foul ball.
Have to. Absolutely have to.
Well, let's run through what we're looking for here. On a ball down the line, before it gets to the bag, at third, it is the home plate umpire's call. Once it gets across the bag, it's the third base umpire's call, and it has to go over the bag at some point. So they're looking to see, was that ball still above the bag at third when it crossed?
So it's not where it lands, it's where it crosses, to your point.
And I will give credit to Leah Dami, the third base umpire. She is right where she needs to be. I don't think anyone in the ballpark had a better view than her.
So it's fair on first bounce. And then, of course, it looks foul after it crosses the base, but where is it right there over the white bag?
I would just say that since it was so close, foul on the foul line after the bag, it had to have been over the base when it crossed over.
And the first bounce was in fair territory. We saw it right there. So is there enough to overturn it? I'm leaning no.
I'm leaning no as well. Well, this is big, because we're talking about 2 runs here.
After review, the call is upheld. It is a fair ball.
So it is a 9-0 lead for the Bandits. Now to be scored a double for Zerkle. She moved to third on the play at the plate. And I think we need to double back again. And just kudos to Sydney McKinney with that pass.
Yeah.
The slide and the avoidance of the tag.
Yep.
continues. The Bandits have now batted around. Skylar Wallace, the 9th batter of the inning. Wallace must be wondering what's going on. There's been all this activity on the bases, and she hadn't been part of any of it. One of the better hitters in pro ball is 0 for 3. Actually, has accounted for 4 outs. Fly to left, hit into a double play, and lined to first. That just tells me she's due. A 4-run third and a 5-run fourth for the Bandits. Into center field. Some things you guess at, other things you just know. Skylar Wallace was due, and she comes through, driving in the 10th run of the game for the Bandits.
Well, another thing that we know about Skylar Wallace is how uber competitive she is. And so not only was physically she due, but mentally you know that she was going up to that plate appearance going, I am getting a hit right now because I am not happy with myself with my last 3 plate appearances, and took a little bit of anger out on that ball right there.
Here's Erin Coffel. She actually began this inning. Was hit with a pitch. Coffel hadn't been retired. 3 plate appearances. She's walked, been hit, and singled. Two and 1 to Coffel.
You can see Trautwein, Valdespino just shaking a couple pitches from Kayla Kowalik, who's calling the pitches behind the plate. Just quick timeout, get on the same page. Trying to go on the outside corner to Erin Coffel, but just didn't get the call for a strike.
2-1 pitch. Misses inside, 3-1. It's been such an unusual game. You got the Bandits doing what they've been doing quite a bit over the last week and a half. Bunch of hits, 6 straight games now with 10 or more hits. And the Blaze have been so quiet when they've been at the dish. They have sent 10 players to the plate and only have 1 base runner. That was a 1-out walk to Aubrey Leach in the first inning. Stolen base by Wallace. Count now goes full to Coffel, 3-2. Popped up foul territory. And that'll make it onto the ground, out of play. We'll do it again. Oh, that gets her. That is another hit batsman. That's the 2nd time here in the 4th inning that Coffel has been hit with a pitch.
That's her 3rd free pass. She walked in the 1st and then back-to-back hit by pitches. So what that tells me is that the pitchers are being very careful with the hottest hitter in this Bandits lineup.
It's going to do wonders for the on-base percentage. Bubba Nickles-Ca called strike 1. First 4 batters in the order for the Bandits have already been to the plate 4 times. Bubba, an Olympian back in 2021, took home a silver medal with Team USA. She's a former high school All-American who was the National High School Player of the Year, which is great in itself, and maybe even better. She was awarded the honor, unbeknownst to her, when Jenny Finch walked onto her high school field to give her her award, National Player of the Year.
I remember that, which is crazy.
Into center field, Aaliyah Andrews makes the play, and the inning is over. But major damage done. The Bandits now lead 10-0. 5 seconds. Well, a heck of a start for the best team in the AUSL so far, 2 weeks into the season. The Bandits, a 10-0 lead over the Blaze. Head coach for the Bandits, Stacey Newman-Denise, has been doing fantastic stuff through the first 8 games, and it continues here in game number 9. Hey, Stacey, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, what's been the secret sauce? You guys have come out of the gates just playing fantastic softball.
You know, I feel like one I guess piece of it is, you know, we took those 10 days of spring training and really pushed them. We worked, I think we really pushed the envelope in terms of our training and how many live at-bats they were getting. We were very fortunate. We had our full pitching staff here, so we had arms to throw live ABs, and I think that's helped us really get out, like you said, a quick start, jump out the gate, and you know, the bats they're looking more confident and settled in now than maybe some of the other hitters in the league, and I think that's part of it at least. Otherwise, they're just awesome. Great athletes, great women, and a lot of good team chemistry as well.
How rewarding is it to see what, you know, you drafted with your GM, Jenny Dalton-Hill, back earlier this year, see that product do what it's been doing here in this league?
Yeah, you know, it was literally fantasy sports meets real life, so you don't have really any idea how it's going to all come together, and Jenny and I really wanted this to be about building a true, complete team with balance in terms of power, speed, having a very diverse pitching staff. And I feel like right now we're seeing that pay off here on the field, and so it's very gratifying. Fun, you know, it's fun to know that our kind of plan is paying off right now, but we know it's a long season, and we just got to keep it rolling.
You talk about a diverse pitching staff. You've just taken out your lefty, Taylor McQuillan, who was magical through the first 3 innings, and you choose to go to Sarah Willis. The thought process here? Well,
we've got a long series. We got a 4-game stretch, so you know, McQuillan's going to get plenty of innings, and at this point right now, let's get Willie a couple here and see what we can do. But you know, it's part of exposure. Like, they don't need to see Taylor anymore today. We'll save her for another day.
Thank you, Newbie. Great talking to you. We'll talk to you again soon.
Go Bandits.
Yep. All right, so we've got Sarah Willis coming on. She throws super hard. Finished her college experience at UCF down in Orlando, Florida. It's getting late early for the Blaze. They're down 10-0. There is a run-ahead rule. The number is 8. If we get through 5 innings and it's an 8-run lead, the game will immediately come to a stop. So the way that it is right now, the Blaze have 6 outs to play with. What do you look for when you see Sarah Willis?
Hard, a lot of screwballs. Of course, Taylor McQuillan, the lefty, so you are using these pitchers because they're different, using them in the right way. She brings velocity. Will throw 70 miles an hour. Her hardest pitch is her screwball, but you could just feel the velo right there with that rise ball, that 65. Typically your rise is not going to register high on the radar gun because it's going up and, you know, fighting gravity, but she brings it.
3-1. You got a real dichotomy here. You got Willis, who's so animated with the moving up and down with her motion, and then you got Aubrey Leach, who just stands so still in the left-handed batter's box. And the patience of Leach pays off. She draws the leadoff walk. Well, we have more Athletes Unlimited League softball on Saturday. That's tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. ESPNU from Norman, Oklahoma, as the Talons are going to take on the Volts.
I was able to watch Hannah Flippin last weekend in Chattanooga and was absolutely just raking at the plate. 2 3-run home runs that she had against the Blaze. They were timely. One in the first inning, and then one won the game and clinched the sweep. And then Danica Coffey, how about a rookie who is leading the Volts offensively? She has been fun to watch.
Klingler swats this one into right field. Catch is made by Bubba. And Klingler, seems odd to say this, she's 0 for 2. She has gotten a hit in every single game so far this year.
Yep.
But that's in jeopardy. Here's Danielle Gibson-Horton. That left knee of Willis, from time to time, actually will touch the ground before she comes to the plate. You can actually see a little bit of a dirt mark on that left knee. She gets so low on that bounce in her motion. Over the years, Kenzie, someone who is an elite thrower like yourself, does your motion stay the same throughout your entire career, or do you change it and tweak it and move things around from travel ball to high school ball to college ball to the pros?
A lot of tweaking. The foundation pretty much is what it is when you're, 13 all the way through college.
Zerkle makes the play, 2 down.
But there's little things that you'll tweak, whether it's, your delivery. You can go out of the glove, swing your arm back with the rocker. Out of the glove is when you have your hand in the glove. You're not showing the ball until you really get to your K, but this is a little unique. Almost like a lunge, trying to engage her legs, I'm sure. Would not be how I did it. A little bending my knees. I was always one of those players where your strength coach and your Coach Candrea, or whoever your head coach is, talking to the taller girls, hey, bend your legs, bend your knees.
Well, one of the things I've noticed over the years as Corby Otis is batting is sometimes you'll see players who clearly grew up thinking about other players and emulate them.
Yes.
I've never seen anyone throw like this before, so Sarah Willis is 1 of 1. But in that Bandits dugout, you got Odyssey Alexander, one of the best pitchers of her generation, and Odyssey will flat out tell you that she grew up watching tapes of Amanda Scarborough on YouTube and buying tapes and all that kind of stuff. And so she kind of is a little bit of a copy of what Amanda did back during her playing days at Texas A&M.
Totally, and it's just like the little things. You see a pitcher that, especially with our game and how much exposure all these pitchers have now, you'll see, a pitcher that emulates a certain pitcher with how she approaches the mound, or, whether she swings an arm, or, kind of does the Monica Abbott where you go real down low. That's kind of what, I think of when I see Sarah Willis go real low like that. I think of Monica Abbott. She kind of had that real low launch angle as a pitcher who, tall in stature, 6'3". So there's little things that you pick up with, when you're young eyes, 10 years old. For me, it was Jenny Finch. I was 10 when she was pitching in her prime at Arizona. And my sister and I, in the backyard every day, we'd be out there with 2 arms rocker, right? My sister wore number 27 because of Jenny. And, that's how we started pitching. And then, of course, you kind of develop and things change. And I went to a 1-arm rocker instead of the 2-arm. But, hey, I started with that 2-arm because Jenny was a 2-arm rocker.
If Jenny did, it's good enough for a whole generation of girls. Here's Anna Gold. Struck out her only time up. That was back in the 2nd inning against McQuillan. Well, because this has been such an odd game, I do feel like I need to remind people, we've not seen a base hit yet for the Blaze. They've had 3 base runners, and they all have been walks. We mentioned that it's getting late early for the Blaze. They have a real good chance of getting run ruled unless they can get something going quickly. it's 8. If one team's leading by 8 through 5 complete, then the game's over. It's a 10-0 lead for the Bandits as we play the bottom of the 4th inning with 2 outs.
Well, you know, we just talked to Coach Newman, Denise, and you can tell that she is playing long game with the Bandits because, you know, you mentioned no hits from the Bandits allowed in this game. The Blaze have not been able to get a hit in this game, and takes out Taylor McQuillan, an ace for their team.
Popped up, windy day, and the ball will make it out of play.
Blaze fans, let me see your
That's another thing that Stacy's doing as well is it allows her to keep McQuillan away from the eyes, too, of the Blaze. She played 4 consecutive days against the same team. All of a sudden becomes an advantage hitter after you see a pitcher so many times. A little bit inside. Jordan Roberts, the catcher, really wanted that one. Well, that added a wrinkle to what we're doing here. It's 3 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs. Both runners will be off with the pitch. No reason not to. Off-speed pitch misses up high, and Willis has walked the bases loaded. Well, it's a great opportunity for the Blaze to get back in the game. All it takes is one swing of the bat. They've got a puncher's chance. Anissa Urtez, a pro's pro, will bat. She will make Willis put something in the strike zone. Would you be absolutely shocked if she swung at a pitch before she got a called strike on her?
No, because this is an opportunity to really get back into this game.
Swings at the first pitch, and it's foul. Well, you were right.
Yeah.
You were right. That would have scored a pair, maybe 3.
Blaze don't need 1 run. They need 4. Well, they need 2, but you have the bases loaded here, and we know what Anissa Urtez, the kind of power that she has. And this is a good reminder for young eyes why you lead off in foul territory.
If you get hit with a fair ball, folks, it's an out.
Yeah, it would have been a momentum killer.
Aubrey Leach not going to make that mistake.
No. She was at the World Series with the rule book in her pocket.
She's become a meme. Off-speed pitch hit into shallow center field. That'll get down. 2-run score. Anissa Urtez, the first base hit of the game for the Blaze. Didn't hit it hard, but hit it into a perfect spot.
Yeah, not pretty, but they will take it. It's the changeup from Willis, and legs are gone, but her hands stay back. And because of the power that Urtez has at the plate, Morgan Zerkle was playing pretty deep and had to run a very far way to get this.
Kayla Kowalik will bat for the first time. She came on defensively a couple innings ago. One ball, one strike to Kowalik. Kowalik spent her spring as an assistant coach at Texas Tech. Almost won the national championship. What a year. They played the national championship, was it last week, 2 weeks ago, Friday? She drove through the night, take her physical the next morning, and be eligible to play in the season opener for the Blaze.
Feels like just yesterday. Like the
I think
fact
it was.
that
It was
we're
2 weeks
in,
ago, yeah.
the fact that we're in week 3 here with the AUSL, that's crazy. It's going so fast.
Called strike 3. Willis strikes out Kowalik, and the side is retired. But the Blaze, they're on the board. They scored 2 times. It's a 10-2 ball game.
2 runs on 1 hit, 2 runners left on base.
Man, it's been a lot of fun, folks. 10-2 lead for the Bandits as we played the top of the 5th inning. The Blaze with just 1 base hit. It did drive in a pair to make us an 8-run lead for the Bandits. The offense firing on all cylinders. 10 out of 22 with a whole bunch of walks. Taylor McQuillan has given way to Sarah Willis, and it is all Bandits early. AUSL has partnered with Rebel Girls, a global empowerment brand dedicated to raising the most inspired and confident generation of girls. Check out Rebel Girls on YouTube as junior reporters recap the AUSL season. With Kenzie Fowler, I'm Eric Collins. Delaney Wisz will bat. Wisz will be followed by Bella Dayton, Devin Netz, unless we have some changes. It's one of the reasons I think the Bandits have been so effective this year. Stacey Newman-Denise has used her entire roster. Everyone's fresh, everyone's happy, everyone's productive. We are thinking about the run-ahead rule. If the Blaze do not score when we get to the bottom of this inning, this game will be over. Fly ball to center field. Catch made by Andrews. 1 down. The Bandits like to give themselves a little bit of pad. Only up by 8. They were up by 10 a moment ago. Here's Bella Dayton. Dayton, the rookie from Texas, has had a nice day. Drove in a run and scored back in the 3rd inning. Walked and scored in the 4th. Popped foul. 0-2.
I always love watching triple threat hitters like Bella Dayton. I love watching her eyes. You can tell that she's constantly checking the defense, giving us a little bit of everything, whether she's swinging, looking to slap, and also drag. Has 2 strikes here, but always reading the D.
Former Wildcat and Longhorn. Arizona and Texas. Good job by Trautwein Valdespino. 2 down.
For the Bandits, designated player from Arizona, Devin.
First of a 4-game series here in Wichita, Kansas. Called strike 1 to Netz. Netz played this year, was the Big 12 Player of the Year at Arizona. Does that sound natural to you yet?
No.
Arizona and Big 12 in the same
I mean,
sentence?
a little bit. Yeah, I'm getting used to the logo being on the uniforms, but verbally, we're still getting used to it. Yeah, a little history. Arizona with a lot of former Pac-12, Pac-10 Players of the Year, but Devin Netz, the first Big 12 Player of the Year.
High drive, deep center field. Andrews goes back. It's gone. Devin Netz, how do
Oh, just the biggest smiles for the rookie. Her first pro home run. How cool is that? Just absolutely sat on a pitch. Curveball on the outside part of the plate, but so much power. She's able to get around it, fight the wind. She was watching it the whole way, saw it leave the yard, and just look at her turn to her dugout. That's what it's all about.
So a little bit of cushion right there for the Bandits. They now lead by 9. We're in the 5th inning. So this would be an official game after the Blaze get their at bat here in the bottom of this 5th inning. Blaze are going to have 3 outs to work with to score at least 2 runs. At least 2 runs to keep this game alive. They're currently down by 9. The run-ahead rule is 8. Jordan Roberts. High pop-up. That'd be a home run in a phone booth. And the side is retired. But another run scores. The Bandits, they have moved their lead back up to 9. 11-2 is our score. The home half of the 5th when we return. We were scoreless to the first 2 innings, and then the Bandits exploded. They scored 11 runs and lead 11-2 over the Blaze. The Blaze, they need to score at least 2 times this half inning, or else the game will be over because of the run-ahead rule. ESPN and the AUSL announced the launch of the Ultimate Softball Snackdown, a competition to crown the first ever official snack of AUSL. Fans can vote now through July 17th via @ESPNW and @Sister Snacking social media to crown their favorite snack. The winning snack will be crowned on Thursday, July 24th.
There's a lot of different snacks out there in the stands.
All right, it'll be Aaliyah Andrews leading things off. Called strike 1 to Andrews. Second inning of work for Sarah Willis. After Andrews, we'll see at the top of the order Sierra Briggs and Aubrey Leach. So, Kenzie, it's communicated in the dugout, right? Everyone understands what we're playing for right now if you're on the field?
Yep.
Sometimes thinks that players just play ball and stop when they're told to stop.
And you can't make it bigger than it is either offensively if you're Blaze. You just really have, it's so cliche, but you really have to just take it one batter at a time. And it all starts with Andrews as the leadoff here. She has got to get on base. And then you just go from there. And if you're Sarah Willis, and of course Jordan Roberts, who's calling her pitches, it has got to be communicated, no walks. Cannot let Blaze get on base via the free pass.
Tipped into the catcher's glove. Out number 1. Second strikeout for Willis.
Goes to her go-to pitch, which is that screwball. You'll see the movement away from Aaliyah Andrews, who's running through the box, trying to just put it in play. That is a very big first out for the Bandits.
Here's Sierra Briggs. When was this time you saw number 66 pitch to a number 88?
I will say, looking at the Bandits roster, I think they have the most unique and diverse numbers that we'll see here in the AUSL. There's a lot of just kind of odd ones. Numbers that really stand out when you're doing prep and you're going down, you're adding their numbers to your notes, and you're like, okay, 66, 97, 34, 82, like, okay.
One ball and 1 strike to Briggs. Called strike 1 and 2. They'll win tonight, and the Bandits remain in first place. They go to 7-2 for the first 9 games of the season. top 2 teams, when it's all said and done, after every team has played 24 games, will be invited down to Tuscaloosa, Alabama to play in our championship series. On the ground. 2 down. Sydney McKinney began the day as the third baseman. She's now playing second base, made that play. And the Blaze are down to their last out. Here's Aubrey Leach. And Leach, I can tell you this, she is going to make Willis work. She may take 2 strikes before she even thinks about swinging.
She's always just so still in the box every time that she's at bat.
Couldn't pull the trigger.
Yeah, thought about it. 2-0 change. Just getting a little clarification whether that was a called on the swing or called on the call.
Ball. 2-2. The Blaze with 1 base hit. It came with 2 outs in the 4th inning. A little bloop by Anissa Urtez. The bases were loaded and it scored a pair. High pop up. This should do it. McKinney makes the play and the game is over. It is a 11-2 win. The first place Bandits show you what they're all about. They do it with pitching, they do it with defense, and they do it with a whole bunch of offense.
Well, how about Taylor McQuillan and Sarah Willis? A 1-hit combined or complete game. The run rule because of the offense, the fireworks. So I'm just telling you, this team is dialed in. We've seen the speed on the base path, solid defense, clutch hitting. And for the Blaze, just a little bit on the struggle bus right now, trying to find a way to get on the right side of things. Tomorrow is a new day, and it's a very important series for them.
Well, we've got 3 more games from Wichita over the next couple of days. We've got Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And look what's coming for the Blaze tomorrow. They're going to face Lexi Kilfoyle, maybe the best pitcher in the league this year.
Yep.
She'll take on Emma Lemley, Willis, and Ocasio on Sunday, and then Netz and another sighting for Vawter on Monday.
Emma Lemley, she's looked really solid as a rookie. Didn't see her today. We did see 3 different arms for the Blaze, so a new start and a fresh arm that we'll see in the Zerkle tomorrow.
Well, we saw excellence tonight in the form of the Bandits. They were magnificent in all 3 phases, and they win by a score of 11-2 in a game shortened to 5 innings because of the run-ahead rule. So it is a final here in Wichita. Athletes Unlimited Softball will continue tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern from Norman, Oklahoma. That'll be the Talons as they take on the Volts. For my partner, Kenzie Fowler, and our entire crew, I'm Eric Collins saying good night, everybody, from Wichita. Thank you so much for watching.